Tonight I have a prayer of gratitude adapted from Debbie McDaniel. Let us pray. Dear God, thank you for your amazing power and work in our lives. Thank you for your goodness and for your blessings over us. Thank you that you are able to bring hope through even the toughest of times, strengthening us for your purposes. Thank you for your great love and care. Thank you for your mercy and grace. Thank you for your incredible sacrifice so that we might have freedom and life. Thank you that you are always with us and will never leave us. Particular to our city, I want to thank you in advance for being with us for the upcoming fall and winter events. We ask that you will protect our city during these and other times. Forgive us for when we don't thank you enough for who you are, for all that you do, for all that you've given. Help us to set our eyes and our hearts on you afresh. Renew our spirits. Fill us with your peace and joy. We love you and we need you this day and every day. We give you praise and thanks, for you alone are worthy. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Councilman Nielsen.
Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, thank you, Councilman. Now have reading and approval of the minutes from our September 12, 2022 meeting.
Mayor, I make a motion that the minutes of September 12, 2022 be accepted. There's no corrections.
Second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes as they are. Any comments or questions, council, about this particular motion? Are there any public comments or questions about this motion? All right, seeing none, Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. All right, moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is Proclamation Number 79 of 2022, and that is Councilman Harrington.
This is Proclamation 79 of 2022, whereas the white cane, which every blind citizen of Louisiana has the right to carry, demonstrates and symbolizes the ability to achieve a full and independent life and the capacity to work productively in competitive employment. And whereas the white cane, by allowing every blind person to move freely and safely from place to place, makes it possible for the blind to fully participate in and contribute to our society and to live the lives they want. And whereas every citizen should be aware that the law requires that motorists and cyclists exercise appropriate caution when approaching a blind person carrying a white cane. And whereas Natchitoches, Louisiana law also calls upon employers, both public and private, to be aware of and utilize the employment skills of our blind citizens by recognizing their worth as individuals and their productive capacities. Now therefore, I, Ronnie Williams, Jr., Mayor of the City of Natchitoches, hereby proclaim October 15th, 2022 as White Cane Awareness Day in the City of Natchitoches, and do call upon our schools and colleagues to offer full opportunities for training to blind persons, upon employers and the public to utilize the available skills of competent blind persons, and to open new opportunities for the blind in our rapidly changing society, and upon all citizens to recognize the white cane as a tool of independence for blind pedestrians on our streets and highways. I move to adopt Proclamation 79 of 2022.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. I think we have two individuals here. Is it Lisa, Trammell? And is that Loria Jackson?
Yes.
Okay. Do either of you have any remarks about the proclamation? Anything you would like to say? All right. Thanks a lot. You come into the microphone. Please state your first and last name, and then whatever remarks you have.
Good evening. My name is Loria Jackson. I'm with the Alexandria VA Medical Center. I'm the administrative officer here at the Natchitoches Clinic. And I have with me today Ms. Lisa Trammell. She's our head nurse there at the VA clinic. On behalf of Peter Dancy and the Veterans Affairs, the Alexandria VA Medical Center, we accept this proclamation on behalf of the veterans, our Blind Veterans Association, and we thank you all for the proclamation.
All right. Council, you got any comments or questions? Look, I know I speak for the council. We're appreciative of the work you all do for our residents who may be affected with this particular exceptionality. And what the council will see very soon, we started a task force dealing with accommodating all of our residents. And I think there's been some really good ideas coming from that, and hopefully next month we'll be able to have a few of them before the council to make sure we're addressing the needs of everybody in our community. So we really appreciate the effort that you all are doing here. Are there any public comments or questions for these two ladies? Yes, sir. Will you come to the microphone? State your first and last name.
Card size. And I'd like to just say that on the behalf of the people, there was a young man in our neighborhood. His name was Charles. He was built up like Tarzan. And his brother was named Willie Clyde. And Charles became a person of blindness. I was a young boy when he lost his sight and wasn't aware of the work that people does for the blind people here in America and everything else. I cried that day. And I asked God, I said, I don't ever want to be blind, because I was born with a sight, and lose your sight unto what you call diabetes and everything else. And Charles could play the guitar and everything else, and he went on. Friends of mine who know how to read money, these people are blind. And I want to commend you all for the things that you all are doing for as the blind people here and throughout Louisiana and everything else. And y'all, you know, we have to look at the people who walk with these canes and everything else, and maybe there need to be some special stuff put up in town for them when they do crossing and everything else to make sure that these people identify who these people are when they are walking with these white canes. And that's all I got to say on that one.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. We only have, ladies, will you come forward real quickly? We'll get a picture with you. And it's only a few of us here today. Two of our council members are not with us, so we'll get, if you can come this way, we'll get a picture real quick. Yeah, let's everybody do it. Kind of be centered on this. Yeah. All righty. Once again, thanks for all your efforts. Next item on the agenda is Proclamation Number 84 of 2022. Councilwoman at-large Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Proclamation Number 084 of 2022 is a proclamation, is a resolution declaring October 9th through October 15th, 2022 as Fire Prevention Week in the city of Natchitoches. Whereas the city of Natchitoches is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our city. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And whereas home fires caused 2,580 civilian deaths in the United States in 2020, according to the National Fire Protection Association. And fire departments in the United States responded to 356,500 home fires. And whereas smoke alarms, sense smoke well before you can. Whereas smoke alarms sense smoke well before you can, alerting you to danger in the event of fire, in which you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. And whereas Natchitoches residents should be sure everyone in their home understands the sounds of the smoke alarms and knows how to respond. Whereas Natchitoches residents who have planned and practice a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. Whereas Natchitoches residents will make sure that smoke and carbon monoxide alarms meet the needs of all of their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. And whereas Natchitoches first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas Natchitoches residents that are responsive to public education measures are better able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas the 2022 Fire Prevention Week theme, Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape, effectively serves to remind Natchitoches it is important to have a home fire escape plan. Therefore, I, Mayor Ronnie Williams, Jr., Mayor of Natchitoches, do hereby proclaim October 9th through 15th, 2022 as Fire Prevention Week in this city, and urge all the people of Natchitoches to plan and practice a home fire escape for Fire Prevention Week 2022, and to support the mayor and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Natchitoches Fire and Emergency Services. Signed, Mayor Ronnie Williams, Jr. Mayor, I move to adopt Proclamation Number 084 of 2022.
Second.
Motion made and second. We've got Chief Wynn. Want to yield some time to Chief to give any further explanation.
Just wanted to tell you thank you for the proclamation. Just remember, fire won't wait, plan your escape. October 6th, we have an event out at the fire training facility. That's at the old LTC training grounds, or trade school. You're all welcome. The public is welcome to come out there and see what the City of Natchitoches Fire Department has. And we're also invited the districts out in our Natchitoches Parish to be there too. So you come out there, we'll have some hot dogs to give away and some events to see. So we always have some type of burn that'll be interesting for you to come see. So we look forward to seeing y'all out there. Thank you. It's October 6th from 5:30 to 8.
Oh, yeah, we got it here. 4th Annual Fire Prevention Open House. So we'll make sure we get that on our app and everything, Chief, okay? Any questions about this particular proclamation? All right. Seeing now, Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Come on, Chief, we want to get a picture with you too. All right, we got a proclamation for you. All right, the next series of items on the agenda will deal with some items that are up for final. And I'm working the council a little bit extra than we normally do because, like I said, we've got Councilman PT and Washington Eli could not be here tonight. So Councilman Harrington, get you to read Ordinance Number 53 of 2022.
Hey, Ordinance 53 of 2022, I'll read introduction, title only as it was introduced last meeting. An ordinance amending Ordinance Number 64 of 2021 by changing zoning classification of property described as follows. It's 516 Keegan Street, and I move to adopt Ordinance Number 53 of 2022.
Second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. Chantrell, you spoke about this the last time. I think this has already gone through planning and zoning, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. So it pretty much unanimous vote there, or pass through, right?
So that one more time?
I'm saying it passed through planning and zoning.
Yes, they were.
Okay, good, council. I don't know, was there a representative here last time for this one?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think we spoke,
She's back.
yeah, we spoke to her already. I believe y'all asked the questions y'all wanted to ask. I don't know if there's anything over the last 2 weeks that has developed among you? Nothing? All right, any public questions or comments about this one?
Yeah, I want to say a few things here I wasn't here at the last meeting, and I was.
As you know, state your first and last, and you got 3 minutes.
Size, once again, somebody explained to me what's supposed to be going on Keegan Street, the short street, after they building the chicken place over there?
Chantrell, you want to briefly explain this?
About the rezone for Keegan?
So let me, okay, the rezoning for Keegan Street, that means that I'm just assuming, don't take it nothing personal. If that area, that whole street there is rezoned, do that mean that those houses that sit on Keegan Street will sell for more than they was if you didn't put a business on that particular corner?
I think that is, it's not rezoning, it's still gonna be R1. Everything is still gonna be residential R1.
They're gonna
So
be
it's not-
R1?
Yes, it's still single family. It's
And
not
it's
changing
one
to
house.
commercial.
Huh?
One house, 516.
That one house you are talking about, what house is that?
516 Keegan.
Okay, then, where would that house be located at? Is it in the center part of the block, or is it next to the chicken place, or
It's
it coming
behind
off?
the new chicken fillet. It's right behind it.
It's
Well,
right
not
behind.
directly behind it, but it's behind where the Chick-fil-A building is being built right now.
Okay, so what is the specification of that particular house? If
It's
only
still gonna
just-
be zoned R1, single family. It just has a special exception attached to it to allow her to rent out that home to whoever she wants to rent it out to for whatever specified period of time.
Okay.
She's just turning it in to the tax commission for additional taxable reported income.
Okay, then.
And
All right.
she's here tonight. If some questions she can answer for you.
Okay. All right, well, you answered the question. I don't have to ask anything. I appreciate that. All right.
All right, any additional public comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries as well. Next item on the agenda is read by Councilwoman at-large Smith, and it's ordinance number 54 of 2022.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for final vote. Ordinance number 054, 2022. Reading entitled, ordinance amending ordinance number 64 of 2001 by changing zoning classification of property described as the northwest corner of Nelkin and Demosier Streets, 53 feet front on Nelkin Street by 125 feet. Address being 202 Demosier Street, and this was introduced at the September 12th meeting. And I move for I move for approval of ordinance number 054 of 2022.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. I believe we had Ms. Sarah here on the previous meeting, which was the 9th? No. Whenever, the 12th, the 12th. She's here again today, but again, council, I don't know if there's any additional questions. I think we asked her some stuff a couple weeks ago.
All right, it's R1 residential, same as.
Yeah, same as I
Previous.
think same as the previous one, right, Chantrell?
Yes, sir.
Yep, okay. And as well as this next one, it's the same thing, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, any public questions or comments? All right, seeing none, Mr. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries as well. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 55 of 2022, and Councilman Nielsen, asking you to read this one.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 51 of 2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Natchitoches to award the bid for the.
I'm sorry, Councilman, and look, we're on 55. If you go one up from, yeah.
Okay.
And it's not you, Eli was reading it, but I'm asking you
Okay,
to step
that's
in.
fine. Ordinance number 55 of 2022, an ordinance amending ordinance number 64 of 2001 by changing the zoning classification of property described as follows. Lot 5 of David Pearson Survey, South Side Sydney Street, from R2 residential to R2 residential with a special exception, and the physical address is 203 Sydney Street, and I move that we adopt ordinance number 55 of 2022.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. As we stated, this one is just like the previous two that we read. Council, questions, comments?
I'm good.
All right. Public comments or questions? Okay. Seeing none, Mr. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right. That motion carries. Moving on to some other ordinances for final, and ordinance number 51 of 2022. That's Councilwoman at-large Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Natchitoches to award the bid for the water distribution and production system improvements, being the Powhatan Connection Contract 1 water well, potable water improvements, which is LCDBG fiscal year 2020 to 2021, bid number 0651. Whereas the resolution number 066 of 2022 was passed by the Natchitoches City Council on July 25th, 2022, authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids for the water distribution and production system for the Powhatan Connection Contract, water bid number 065. Whereas 2 bid proposals were received and opened, being Watson Well Drilling and Construction of Rayville, Louisiana, $370,693. Continental Drilling Service of Shreveport, $442,526. Whereas on September 6th, bids were opened, and the city awarded to the lowest bidder, being Watson Well Drilling and Construction LLC of Rayville, Louisiana, in the amount of $370,693. And this was introduced at the September 12, 2022 meeting. And I move for final adoption of ordinance number 051.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Matt, I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to say different than what you said last time?
No, sir, that's just for our water well out on Waterwell Road that will net the city about 280,000 gallons a day.
Okay. All right. Council, you got any questions or comments? As you can see from documentation, as we do per our custom, go with the lowest bid, or the lower bid in this case. All right. Any public comments or questions about this particular item?
Yes, I got something to say.
You're on the clock, sir.
car size. On this water system that Powhatan will be receiving, how much will the city of Natchitoches have to pay? I know y'all ran some pipes out Johnson Shoot Road a while back. What would it cost the taxpayers of Natchitoches to invert to run the lines? I know Powhatan gonna pay their part of it to join into the system in Natchitoches. Do you have a net cost on what Powhatan gonna be paying? I know they said about the people that took the bid and everything else, what they was charging. I understand that part. What part does Natchitoches play in this to get this joined in, and what would it cost the citizen of Natchitoches itself?
This whole project is 100% grant from the state of Louisiana. It's in two parts. The second part, which we're going over after this, the first part was to build a water well to give the city supplement supply. Powhatan will use approximately 20,000 gallons a day. This well will produce about 300,000 gallons a day. So the city will net 280,000 gallons a day. Now the next ordinance that we'll be voting on is the actual pipe from Johnson Chute area out down to Powhatan, and that is also covered under the grant. So it's one grant, but it's two separate projects.
So what is the pipe that already is resistant down Johnson Chute Road?
That's a water line that's been there probably 30 or 40 years.
So what is the size of the pipe?
It's on Johnson Chute.
Yeah.
It's a 6-inch and a 4-inch,
It's-
and it gets down to a 2-inch.
Okay.
As further it goes, the smaller it gets.
So other words, you telling me that this is totally grant and everything else, and Natchitoches or the city of Natchitoches won't have any responsibility of coming up later and taking care of a bill that underneath the umbrella?
Right, and I should say the 3 minutes have expired. but
No, hold on, excuse
No,
me.
I'll let Matt go ahead and finish.
Excuse me.
Answering that question, but 3 minutes have expired. Go ahead, Matt.
Excuse me, how am I on a 3-minute time limit?
Well, that's just-
When I'm asking a question, I mean, I'm asking a question, Mayor, and then all of a sudden now you come up with the 3 minutes. I think that.
I think we've been doing 3 minutes before I was mayor.
No, well, you've been doing 3 minutes, but when other folks get up and say something, they go beyond 3 minutes, so I'm asking him a question, and how can I get the question answered if I don't finish the question?
Matt, did you
Okay,
get the question?
Okay, excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Mr. Sides.
Please.
Mr. Sides.
Oh, don't answer.
Mr. Sides.
Don't answer. Don't answer.
Okay.
Don't answer. You don't have to answer.
Take your seat, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, any other public comments or questions? All right, seeing none. Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All righty, that motion carries as well. Next item on the agenda, actually, Matt already handled that one pretty well, but it's ordinance number 52 of 2022. Councilman Nielsen.
Read this in title only. Ordinance number 52 of 2022 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Natchitoches to award the bid for the water distribution and production system improvements, Powhatan Connection, Contract 2, Water Mains and Site Work, LCDBG, fiscal year 2020 through 2021, potable water improvements, SSC project number 3080, and its bid number 0652. And this was introduced at the last meeting, so I'll move to adopt ordinance number 52 of 2022.
Second.
All right, as Matt was saying, motion's been made and seconded. The first one that we just approved was dealing with the water well. Now, this one is dealing with the water mains. I think that's what you were saying.
Correct.
Okay? That's good. And anything else?
Yeah, this is just the second part of that big project. This is the water main that will extend from Natchitoches water system to Power Ave.
Okay. Council, any comments or questions for Mr. Anderson? All right, any public comments or questions here?
Yes.
All right, 3 minutes, sir.
This simplified one thing that I was asking in the beginning. The second paragraph of what Dale Nelson just read off and everything, it take care of the first one that was done. And it was done by the pipeline. That's the only thing that I was asking. So I wasn't asking anything out of the ordinary. It's number 2, take care of number 51.
Yeah.
And you know what? If it's pipe, or if it's different side pipe, and you come back later and you do the same thing, but it's on a different gender and everything else, that's the only thing I was asking. I appreciate it.
Okay. Any other public comments or questions here? All right, seeing none, Mr. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries as well. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 56 of 2022, and that is Councilman Harrington.
Ordinance number 56 of 2022, an ordinance to designate funds from the American Rescue Plan for use by the city of Natchitoches for the purchase of certain equipment and other movable property to be wholly owned and titled to the city of Natchitoches, authorizing the execution of any and all documents necessary to properly effectuate such purchases and otherwise providing with respect thereto. This was introduced the last meeting. I move to adopt ordinance number 56 of 2022.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adopt this ordinance. Steve, I think there's another slide there, and with these next, this slide here really covers the next two as well, but you see in red on this particular graph that, I tell you what, Clarissa, you developed it, so
It's okay.
anything you want to say?
So
How about
as you can
that?
see, highlighted in red is the actual pieces of movable equipment that our department has submitted for consideration, and there's about $574,000 in much-needed equipment that we'll be able to provide to our departments and to the city of Natchitoches. And then the one highlighted in green is the estimated renovation cost for the John Deere building, where our Public Works Department will be hopefully in the near future. And then on the last line under administration, that is a second round of the facade grant of $105,000 upon the completion of our current facade grant. So this totaled $874,000 in appropriated funds from the ARPA funding that we were awarded.
Thanks a lot, Clarissa, great explanation. All righty, I think she gave you the total dollar figure, and it covered most of those departments that actually work with equipment on a regular basis. So the goal is to try to be more efficient in what we do, and this equipment can help us to do that. Are there any public comments or questions about this particular item? Okay, all right, seeing none, Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries as well. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 57 of 2022, and Councilwoman Washington, Eli is not here, so Councilwoman at Large Smith, if you will be so kind to read this one for us.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. This is ordinance number 57 of 2022, which is ordinance to designate funds from the American Rescue Plan for use by the city of Natchitoches to provide funding for necessary renovations and improvements to the real property owned by the city of Natchitoches, commonly referred to as the John Deere Building, authorizing the execution of any and all documents, contracts, and/or agreements necessary to properly effectuate such renovations and otherwise providing with respect thereto. This ordinance was introduced at the September 12th meeting, and I move for adoption of ordinance number 057 of 2022.
Second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. We are in the process of purchasing the John Deere building on Texas Street for relocation of our Public Works Department. And as Mrs. Brown-Smith has already explained, in green, $200,000. That's going to be our budget from the American Rescue Plan, if it's approved by the council, to renovate that particular building. I think Mr. Forrest explained there's some drainage, roof, and some other interior things that we'd like to address with this $200,000. Is there anything outside of that, Mr. Forrest?
Well, I talked to Norman today, and he was saying we also, the engineer that's dealing with the building, he said that we would also need to get some air conditions because the ones on top of the roof are in bad shape, so we would have to try to generate some money for that also. And we have the flooring, and we also have the remodeling, inside the building for the office space. And like you said, on the drainage, I think we had a number of $60,000 for the drainage. The metal roof, $45,000, but that's the only thing I have right now in numbers of price.
Okay. All righty. Council, you got any comments or questions about this one? Okay. Any public comments or questions here?
Just one simple question.
Get you to come. And as we do with everybody, 3 minutes.
2.5. Call side. I just want to ask a question. Are y'all purchasing this building or y'all leasing the building?
Yeah, it's a lease purchase, so at the end
It's
of,
a lease. So other words, I'm just asking a question. The money that it will cost to redo this whole building here, when you all get ready to buy the building, will that become off of the price of the building?
Yes.
no, this is just additional funds. The payment we make,
So-
the annual payment we make is what's gonna
Right,
come,
right, but-
draw
but-
down the,
So, other words, is this coming off of the people of Natchitoches for paying for this building, or this gonna be a grant? Or this gonna be a grant for it as the money they're gonna take to allocate to fix?
well, these are American Rescue Plan dollars
Okay,
that
okay.
every municipality got. We got 6.4 million, so we're proposing to use 200,000 of that 6.4 million to address some things at the John Deere building.
Okay, well, all right. So other words, it won't, and so whenever y'all get ready to purchase the building from them, do y'all get a capital gain on restructuring of the building? Or the city lose that?
But I'm not exactly familiar, capital gain, who,
You won't
anybody?
lose it. This is an outright purchase. It's just in a lease model. So, it's pretty much giving us time to make,
Okay, all right.
incremental payments. But the investment that we're making to our facility, is one that we are gonna pull ARPA funds from and make that, so we don't lose anything on the improvements to our facilities.
All right,
Yes, sir.
okay.
I think my understanding of it, if it's paid, we had a certain time to pay it off, and if we paid it off in a certain length of
Yes.
time, then that amount was decreased. Total amount, I think, was decreased. I think 200 and, I can't remember the 200.
No, it's pretty much the lease is set up, in divided payments. Yeah,
payments,
so it's not reduced at any manner. The sale price will stand as it is today, and we'll pay that, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have it in front of me, but it's divided into 3 payments.
3 payments,
Yes,
right,
ma'am. So that sale price will stand as it is. So we don't lose anything, and it's not like a reduction in pricing or anything like that at the end of the lease. But at the end of the lease, once we make all 3 payments, we do retain ownership. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks, great explanation. Any other public comments, questions? All right, seeing none, Mr. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right, the next item on the agenda is read by Councilman Nielsen, and that is ordinance number 58 of 2022.
And this is for finals, so I'll read it in title only. Ordinance number 58 of 2022, an ordinance to designate funds from the American Rescue Plan for the use by the city of Natchitoches to provide funding for a grant program for necessary renovations and improvements to the real property in the city of Natchitoches through a cooperative endeavor agreement with Community Facade and Economic Enhancement Committee, and otherwise providing with respect thereto. And I move to adopt ordinance number 58 of 2022.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. Mrs. Brown Smith, any comments here? I know we introduced it a couple weeks ago. But
Yeah, none other than, I mean, it'll be modeled the same way our current facade grant is. We'll just be targeting a different area in the city. I don't know if we honed in on the particular area. I think we kind of tossed around South Drive and Kaiser, but other than that, it'll be exactly how it's modeled now.
Okay, council, you got any questions or comments? All right, any public questions or comments here? Okay, seeing none, Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. These next
Do we have
five,
anybody here to speak on that?
oh, we've already voted to approve it, so, yeah. And it's really just to finance what I know the facade grant we've heard about on a number of occasions, so it's just really to put the funding behind it is what we're doing with that. The next five items are just for introduction, with the first one being read by Councilwoman at-large Smith, and that is ordinance number 59.
Ordinance number 59 of 2022 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Natchitoches, Ronnie Williams, Jr., to execute a lease in favor of Air Data Solution, LLC, of a portion of Lot 1A of the Natchitoches Regional Airport as shown on the airport layout plan of April 27, 2001 by Alliance Incorporated, and further providing for advertising of the lease and an effective date. Whereas the airport manager has negotiated the terms of a lease to Air Data Solution, LLC, of a portion of that property shown and depicted as Lot 1A on the layout plan, as well as access to the associated asphalt apron and parking area. And whereas further, the terms of the lease are for a one-year period and a one-year option with consideration of $1,500 per month as set forth in the attached lease agreement by and between the city of Natchitoches. And whereas the lease further provides that Air Data Solutions shall have access to and use of the classroom, being that 26-foot by 19-foot area in the office area at the rate of $100 per day. And whereas further, the city desires to lease a portion of the Lot 1A of the layout plan as identified on the sketch, as well as access to and use of the associated asphalt apron and parking lot. Now therefore be it ordained that the city council convene that the mayor, Ronnie Williams Jr., is hereby authorized, after due proceedings and legal delays have run, to execute a lease in favor of Air Data Solution, leasing that property shown, associated asphalt apron and parking lot for the sum of 1 year, for the term of 1 year, and the monthly rental of $1,500. And this is for introduction only. It was introduced on September 26th, this day, and this is for introduction only.
Right, Ed, do you have any comments?
Air Data's been out there for, I believe, about 6 years now, and their business is growing. And this is the hangar that Northwestern previously used. It's a city-owned hangar, and there is office space, classroom-type space from their aviation program. But Air Data has grown, and now they want to lease the entire building and the entire hangar. It's been sitting, those parts of the building and hangar have been sitting vacant, and it's a good opportunity to generate some income for the city. And they're only doing it for 1 year to, you know, they don't want to, I guess, bite off more than they can chew. They want to try it out to make sure that they need that space and make sure their business keeps growing. And if it keeps growing, then we'll continue leasing it, but they're basically going to try it out for 1 year, and hopefully their business will keep growing and hiring, you know, more people.
Good, so right now it's like 1-year term, and then after that, they decide it's on a month-to-month, is what you're saying?
Well,
more or
no,
less?
it'd be, we wouldn't do
Renew it.
anything less than a year.
Okay.
Okay, and this is, since it's introduction, we'll reserve public comments for our next meeting when we vote on it. But council, do you have, or the councilwoman at large, make a comment? Other councilmen, do you have any comments or questions about this?
I think they've been a great tenant at the airport. It's one of the bigger hangars, I
It is.
think, and it's kind of a good cornerstone for the commercial side of the airport. Glad to see them stepping up.
Yep. All right. Again, this will be up for vote at our next city council meeting. All right, council, here's what I would like to do is skip our next three for now, our next two, 60 and 61, and let's go to ordinance number 62 of 2022. And that's read, and I tried to keep everybody not reading back to back, but Councilwoman Lawrence Smith, please take my apologies. This one is on you. Again, Dr. Parker's here, and I want her to say something about Crime Stoppers. She has a hard stop, so I want to get her up here. So Councilwoman Lawrence Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Catch my breath. For introduction, ordinance number 62 of 2022 is an ordinance approving the terms and form of a cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Natchitoches and Crime Stoppers of Natchitoches Incorporation, and authorizing the mayor to execute the cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Natchitoches and Crime Stoppers of Natchitoches, and further providing for severability and further providing for repeal or an effective date of ordinance. Whereas the Louisiana Constitution of 1974 provides that for public purpose, the state and its political subdivision or political corporations may engage in cooperative endeavors with each other and with the United States or its agencies, or with any public or private association, corporation, or individual. And whereas the city is specifically authorized under section 1.06 of the Charter of the City of Natchitoches to provide for general welfare, safety, health, peace, and good order of the city, and further authorized under section 1.07 of the Charter to enter into joint service agreements of cooperative. And whereas the City of Natchitoches has reviewed the attached cooperative endeavor agreement, which provides for the participation by the city in the Crime Stoppers program and approves the same, now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Natchitoches and in due legal and regular session convened that the attached cooperative endeavor agreement between the city and Crime Stoppers is approved, and be it further ordained that Mayor Ronnie Williams, Jr. be and is hereby authorized to execute for and on behalf of the City of Natchitoches the cooperative endeavor agreement between the city and the Crime Stoppers. Be it further ordained that all ordinances and resolutions or parts thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. This is for introduction only.
All right, Dr. Parker, would you mind coming to the mic? I know you know. State your first and last, and then just explain the program. It's been about a year in operation.
Yes, thank you so much for reading back to back for us. I appreciate it so much. And I want to thank everyone here because of you, we are able to operate. The city of Natchitoches has partnered with the Crime Stoppers to basically say that we're building a stronger community together. And with that said, we have our Director of Communications here, Nicole Gray. I'm very glad that she's here in the audience with us. But we've been really harping on this particular fact. It's really like an insurance program. It is there if we need it. And individuals have been calling. And we are very successful we had one particular tip that led to a person that was arrested for second-degree murder, and Captain Collins can always talk about that. We had our police liaison, Officer Greeley, come in and tell us that there were so many people calling in last month. So people are calling. We've been able to award out about $3,300. We kept our expenses really, really low. I teased my board. I said they wanted us to buy Christmas cards. I said absolutely not. That money is directly for the bills and for tips, and that is it. So we are thankful for any and all our partners. We have private partners, private businesses, private individuals that helped support this endeavor. And so I'm willing to take any questions and allow our wonderful Chief of Police to say or make any statements that he'd like about supporting this particular organization as well.
Anything you'd like to say, Chief? And we'll say briefly, just because she's got to go by 6:30, so.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be real brief. I do believe the Crime Stoppers platform is definitely a benefit to the citizens of Natchitoches because it gives us, in the days and times where everyone feels intimidated and they're fearful of retaliation for giving up information, this system allows them to do it totally anonymous. Law enforcement has no method of getting in touch with them in the way the system works that allows us to even have a two-way communication with them so that if we pass the person up that they're giving a tip on, they can say, no, you just missed it, and we can get, okay. So it's definitely a great benefit. And then, of course, the traction for those individuals that have given tips and received payments, the word's getting out there, so.
Okay. Counsel, you got any questions or comments for Dr. Parker?
I just want to say I concur with Chief Collins. I think y'all doing a great job.
Yeah, it's a real
great.
impactful
Really.
program.
Well, again, it's because of all of us in the room that this is working.
It is.
All righty. Thank you so much, Dr. Parker. I know you got to go. Appreciate you being here. All right, Council, so we're going to go back and get number 60 and 61, Councilman Harrington, Ordinance Number 60 of 2022.
Ordinance number 60 of 2022 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Natchitoches, Ronnie Williams Jr., to execute a lease in favor of the Louisiana Agricultural Finance Agency of that property located in the Natchitoches Regional Airport, described as Lot 9, and further providing for advertising of the lease and an effective date. And whereas the terms of the lease are for a 10-year period with consideration of $750 per year, all is set forth in the attached lease agreement by and between the City of Natchitoches and Louisiana Agricultural Finance Agency. And this is for introduction only.
All right, Ed, any additional kind of layman's terms you want to give here?
Yeah, the state of Louisiana, it's their fire patrol. They have 2 airplanes here. And their hangar, these are real small lots. They're on the east side of the airport. Their hangar sits in one lot and takes up all of the lot. So right next to it, there's a place where they have their above-ground fuel tank. So because they didn't have room, they have to lease the lot next to it for their fuel tank. And this lease is for the space for their fuel tank.
Okay. Council, you got any questions or comments based on what Ed just stated? All right, again, this will be up for vote at our next city council meeting. Thanks for the explanation, Ed. All right, moving on to Ordinance number 61 of 2022. That's Councilman Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 61 of 2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Natchitoches to award the bid for liquid chlorine for the water treatment plant, bid number 0654. Whereas resolution number 69 of 2022 was passed by the Natchitoches City Council on August 8, 2022, authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids for chlorine for the water treatment plant. And whereas this bid was advertised in the Natchitoches Times on August 8, August 18, and August 25 of 2022, in accordance with law, and whereas one bid proposal was received and opened as follows: DPC Enterprises out of Reserve, Louisiana, $2,291 per ton. And whereas on September 20, 2022, the appointed committee of Clarissa Smith Brown, Finance Director, Ed Lee, Director of Purchasing, Matt Anderson, Utility Department, and Rosemary Eli, Councilwoman, reviewed the bids for liquid chlorine for the water treatment plant. And whereas the above appointed committee members unanimously recommended the city award the bid to the one bid received, DPC Enterprises, in the amount of $2,291 per ton. Now therefore be it ordained that the Honorable Ronnie Williams, Jr., Mayor, is hereby authorized, empowered, and directed to sign any and all documents necessary for acceptance of this bid. And this is for introduction.
Matt, anything to highlight here from this?
Just the rising costs. It's-
Price
It's
increase.
ridiculous. The chemicals are just getting out of control. We usually have 2 or 3 bids normally on chlorine.
Yep.
From what I understand, DCP is one of the only suppliers left doing business in Louisiana. So,
And chlorine's one of your easiest ones, should be one of the easiest ones to get.
yeah, I mean, it's a byproduct of everything the oil industry does. And
Yeah.
it all comes out of South Louisiana.
Yep.
So it's disappointing we only got one bid. But
I'm curious, Matt, as to why DCP, you may not know, but why they're the only ones kind of left in Louisiana
they're
doing
kind
this.
of a national company, I believe, a big company. They do business all over the United States. I don't know if they've simply run the smaller suppliers out of business or they just don't want to fool with it anymore, but yeah, it's not good.
How significant would you say this price increase is?
I would
Have you
say-
done any math on that?
It's about $950 per ton higher than we're paying now.
Whoa,
So,
That's tough.
it's
I don't
probably
know
about
math, but that sounds like a
70
lot.
About $70,000 over the next, or $68,000 over the next year, right? Yeah, we do it once a year. Yeah, so
An additional 68,000
above what we're paying now.
above what we're paying now. And that's what we've kind of talked about in some of the town halls we've had. You know, inflation is certainly affecting the city as well.
Very much.
And what it really does is gonna really affect our purchasing power for us is providing those services to our residents. If we have to pay more for things like chlorine and some of these other chemicals that we gotta have.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't not get it, you know, it's gonna affect what we're able to do in it, because you gotta absorb it somewhere. So,
Correct.
yeah. Council, I don't know if you got anything else? All right, this is just for introduction today. All righty, and Councilman Nielsen, for going out of order, you gotta do back-to-back, so, ordinance number 63 is where we are now, so now it's on you, sir.
62 or
63.
60?
Yeah, well, we skipped 62 because we got it
Okay,
earlier,
okay.
so now we're on 63 of 2022. It's on
I'm
you,
with
sir.
it. This is for introduction, ordinance number 63 of 2022, an ordinance approving the terms in form of a cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Natchitoches and the Natchitoches Parish School Board, authorizing the mayor to execute the cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Natchitoches and the Natchitoches Parish School Board, which will provide for terms to support additional cross guards in the city and parish. And that is all that I have on my computer, so introduction.
It's for introduction.
Okay. Whereas the Louisiana Constitution of 1974, Article 7, Section 14C provides that a public purpose, the state and its political subdivisions or political corporations may engage in a cooperative endeavors with each other, with the United States or its agencies, or with any public or private association, corporation, or individual. Whereas the city of Natchitoches is a municipality located in the state of Louisiana, parish of Natchitoches, governed under a home rule charter and code of ordinances adopted November 5, Ordinance Number 5 of 1977. And whereas the city of Natchitoches is specifically authorized under Section 1.06 of the Charter of Natchitoches to provide for the general welfare, safety, health, peace, and good order of the city, and further authorized under Section 1.07 of the Charter of the City of Natchitoches to enter into joint service agreements and cooperative efforts with other governmental agencies and political subdivisions, whether domiciled in Natchitoches Parish or other parishes, including but not limited to the parish governing body, other parish offices, agencies, the school board. And whereas the city wishes to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with the parish school board for the purposes of facilitating the employment of crossing guards to better protect the children of the community, and whereas further, the City Council of the City of Natchitoches, acting as the governing authority, has reviewed the agreement, and now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Natchitoches in due legal and regular session convened that the attached cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Natchitoches and Natchitoches Parish School Board is approved. And this is for introduction.
All right, let me defer to Chief Collins for a moment or so to give any further comment about this.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Basically, we're needing to staff our crossing guards, and what we provide currently is not enough. I think it's $10 an hour for 2 hours a day for people to come out and work as crossing guards. And when gas reached almost, $4.80 a gallon, we had individuals that were driving and they would burn up what they would actually make. So we were down to 3 crossing guards. Currently we have 4. There's 6 school zones that these crossing guards help assist with traffic control. They make sure that the students stay safe when they have to cross the roadway. They supplement the process. If they see something that's out of order or any fights, they deter different things like that, just their presence alone. And our officers go to each school zone and cover that. But when the crossing guards aren't there, those officers have to perform that task and duty. So that leaves one less unit that's able to go stop a speeder or a person that's on the cell phone coming through a school zone, or able to respond to a hot call in the city because they're out directing the traffic. So the goal is to work through a partnership with the school board to pool money so that we can increase the base pay for those crossing guards to entice filling all the positions.
I think it's a good deal. Council and everybody else, it's cost sharing between the city and the school board. We're able to get that number up to $20 an hour for a couple hours a day to make it worth somebody's while to get up. And I mean, we all have to care about the safety of our children in these school zones. Council, I don't know if you got any comments or questions?
No, I know we do need the safety of our students, school, and parents who's transporting, school buses transporting these kids. On that same note, maybe it may not be the time, but maybe the time to talk about it. I've also been, people have come and talk about in the mornings over at, crossing over Williams, going to the schools over there, there's a problem there. Would these crossing guards be able to assist with the moving of traffic in those particular areas from,
You said outside of the school zone? You said outside of school zones?
well, yeah, from the bridge crossing over, for people going to the schools?
Yeah,
They
they're
won't
just
be
gonna
able
be
to-
in the school
they're just gonna
zones.
be in the school
Right, Chief?
zones.
That's correct,
Okay.
sir.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say people have asked about that, but, you know, you gotta have the numbers. Yeah, I already know what you're gonna say.
I was going to allude back to the fact when we did have officers, because I was one of them that worked traffic during 5 times a day. That's directly after we passed the half-cent sales tax, and we had 81 officers, 8 and 9 officers per shift. We could do that.
Could do that. Yeah, I know.
So if we're able to get back to that
Reduce
number,
numbers, I know.
if we're able to get back to that number, that's maybe something we could explore again. Okay, all right, this again, just for introduction, so we're moving on from it. And there'll be public comments at our next meeting. Next, we're moving to resolutions. We have resolution number 80 of 2022. That's read by Councilman Harrington.
Resolution 80 of 2022 is a resolution appointing members to the Animal Advisory Committee and fixing the terms of office of the members of the Animal Welfare Committee of the City of Natchitoches, Louisiana Incorporated. Whereas Section 6-26 calls for the appointment, for the committee to be comprised of 2 members of the Humane Society, 1 member of Hope for Paws Rescue, 1 member of the City Council, the Chief of Police, or his designee, with a non-mandatory member being a veterinarian or vet tech. And whereas the mayor has recommended and is hereby submit for approval the following appointments to the Animal Advisory Committee: Juanita Murphy from the Humane Society, Kathy Owsley from the Humane Society, Rachel LeBlanc from Hope for Paws Rescue, Chief Collins, Jessica Williams from the Police Department, Dale Nilsson, councilperson, and Katie Cody is a vet tech. I move to adopt Resolution 80 of 2022.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Chief, I don't know if you want to defer to, if you want to take this, or I know we got Mizier. Well, what's his, is it Sergeant Mizier or Sergeant Mizier? What is-
He's Animal Control Supervisor.
Oh, Animal Control Supervisor Mizier. All right, Mizier, you want to come to the microphone, state your first and last name, and if there's just any additional comment, the chief has deferred to you, sir, so that's why we asked you to come.
Jonathan Mizier, Director of Animal Control for City of Natchitoches. Just a resolution just to add a 7th person, because beforehand it was 6, and just to make sure we didn't have a 3-by-3 tie to where then we have to call up the mayor. We just wanted to make sure we have a 7th person, so we don't ever run into the incident again.
Yeah, I'm glad, because I don't want to deal with the politics of this, so I'm glad we're getting this other person to do it. All right, and obviously Lieutenant Jessica Williams. I think everybody knows, we don't have a picture of her, but I think most of us know her. Y'all got comments, questions, counsel for Mr. Mizier? All right, any public questions or comments here? All right, thank you, Mr. Mizier.
Thank you, sir.
Mrs. Stacy, seeing no public comments or questions, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 81 of 2022. That's Councilman Nielsen.
Whoops. Let me catch up with you. Resolution number 81 of 2022, a resolution addressing administrative aspects of the proposed fiscal year 2023 Louisiana Community Development Block Grant, LCDBG, project for the City of Natchitoches, with costs to be covered by the LCDBG program for projects valued up to $800,000. Whereas the fiscal year 2023 Louisiana Community Development Block Grant Program application is now open, with a submittal deadline of November 21, 2022, and whereas the City of Natchitoches plans to submit an application for a project that meets the LCDBG program requirements. And whereas the City of Natchitoches requires the assistance of a grant administration consultant in order to ensure that all requirements of the LCDBG program are met, and whereas the city distributed a request for proposals for grant administration services and received 3 responses, whereas a proposal review team consisting of city grant manager, city finance director, city purchasing director, and city engineer reviewed and evaluated the proposals that were received and have recommended the selection of Fry McGee LLC. And now therefore be it resolved that the City of Natchitoches has selected the consulting firm of Fry McGee LLC to assist in the preparation of said application, and the mayor is hereby authorized to negotiate a contract for said services. And I move that we adopt resolution number 81 of 2022.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. Obviously, Fry McGree had the best proposal. I don't know either one of the individuals. If there any other comment besides that need to be stated? I know we had a review team, as Councilman Nielsen read, of Nicole Gray, Clarissa Brown-Smith, Ed Lee, and Nick Ferret, who's not here with us tonight. Anything else except they had the best proposal, y'all?
No, Fry McGee had extensive experience doing this, direct related experience. They're also the consultant for our HVAC project and has been doing a good job. And, you know, they stood out in a big way over the other 2 submittals.
Yep. And the HVAC, thank you for mentioning that, Ed, has expanded. You're going to see something with the HVAC in just a moment, but that has expanded to $1.6 million, and as Ed said, they've been doing an excellent job with that project. So, yep. Council, you got any questions, comments?
Would that start out like 50? And it's
The HVAC started out, was it $1 million?
400,000.
That's what it started out as?
Yes.
Okay. Then it expanded to 1.6. All right.
wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Good deal. All right. So no questions. Any public comments or questions here? Okay. Seeing none. Mr. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 82 of 2022. That's read by Councilwoman at-large Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Find it. Resolution number 82 of 2022 is a resolution authorizing Mayor Ronnie Williams, Jr. to enter into a task order agreement between the City of Natchitoches and KSA Engineers for services related to White Oak Lane Booster Station rehabilitation. Whereas the City of Natchitoches desires to approve the task order agreement attached and incorporated hereby by reference as to allow for KSA engineers to perform services related to White Oak Lane Booster Station and other future task orders which the city deems necessary. And now therefore be resolved that the mayor and the city council do hereby order that the city council of the city of Natchitoches approve the task order agreement between KSA engineers and the city of Natchitoches. And this is for, okay, and I move for approval of resolution number 082 of 2022.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Matt, I'll defer to you. This is your department. I know we have Mr. Vinay here. Whether you want to tackle or you want to defer to him, that's up to you.
Robert can speak if he wants to, but this is just a standard agreement between an engineering firm and the owner, which would be the City of Natchitoches. We have these agreements with multiple engineers. And when we have a task, a job that we would like them to look at or perform for us, they issue a task order, and this just this document lays out what each person's responsibility is for that task order. About right, Robert?
And we know KSA has done some great work for us at the airport. Now they're going to tackle this project for us, the White Oak Lane Booster Station, which this is a water device, right, Matt? Is that
Correct, it's
correct?
a water booster station.
Okay. All right. Robert, you good?
He did perfect.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Robert's here every time there's something dealing with KSA on the agenda, so we appreciate not only being here, but the service you give. I know you drove about an hour away, and you've got to do that again. So, again, we appreciate this continued partnership. Council, you got any comments or questions? All right. Are there any public comments or questions here? All right, seeing none, Mr. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is, and again, Councilman Nielsen, you didn't know this, but I'm asking you to read it. It's resolution number 83 of 2022.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 83 of 2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Risk Services of Louisiana Incorporated for property insurance for the city of Natchitoches, whereas the purchasing director and the finance director have reviewed the proposals submitted for property insurance for the city of Natchitoches and recommends the contract be awarded to Risk Services of Louisiana Incorporated in the amount of $203,449 for the policy period October 11, 2022 through October 11, 2023. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Honorable Ronnie Williams, Jr., Mayor, is hereby authorized, empowered, and directed to sign any and all documents necessary for the execution of the contract as above referenced. This resolution was then presented for a vote, and I don't need to read that part. I move to adopt resolution number 83 of 2022.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. I see Ed and Clarissa. Is there anything outside of what was read that we should state here?
No, there was a little bit of an increase. It went from 187,000 to 203,000. That's in a big way of inflation. You know, they reassessed the values of the repair, replacement of our properties, and it went up about $9 million. So, and of course, it's based on the value that they're covering, so we did have an increase in the premium, but it does look like a fair renewal.
Okay. Council, you got any comments or questions here?
Oh, we know everything's going up, so it's understandable. Premiums.
Mm-hmm. Who do we do this with, Ed? Remind
Well, it's
me.
Risk Services, but they do it in conjunction with Cunningham Agency.
That's
The two
right.
of them are doing this one together.
Okay, that's what I thought Cunningham was in here somewhere. Any public comments or questions? Okey dokey. Seeing none. Mr. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. All right, next item on the agenda, one of three remaining, is resolution number 85 of 2022, and that's Councilman Harrington.
Resolution 85 of 2022 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to advertise and accept bids for HVAC improvements at the Natchitoches Event Center. I think that speaks for itself.
Yep.
I move to adopt Resolution 85 of 2022.
Second.
All righty, Council, do you have any questions about this to advertise the bids? All right, and it has when we're going to do it and all of that in the resolution. So, any public comments or questions here? Okay, seeing none. Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right, next item, that motion carries. Next item is resolution number 86 of 2022. Councilman Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 86 of 2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor to advertise and accept bids for HVAC improvements at the Martin Luther King Jr. Recreational Community Center, MLK. And I move to adopt resolution number 86 of 2022.
Second.
Motion made and seconded on here. And Ed, I know Kevin as well, y'all have been talking about this. So again, this is just for HVAC improvements. This has not started the mold mitigation part, right?
That's correct. We're waiting on the mold. We just have one more little piece of information we need, and I hope to get it any day, and the contractor is ready to go. So it could start at any time. As soon as we get that last little bit of information from Fry McGee, we'll be ready.
Okay? Council, questions or comments based on what you heard and what you see?
No, I'm just ready to get this over with.
Good.
Ready to get this building open, and thanks, Ed.
Yeah, I know Kevin is too.
And Kevin, thanks.
Yeah, comments or questions, public comments or questions here? All right, seeing none, Mr. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 87, Councilman Harrington.
Resolution number 87 of 2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute change order number 1 to the contract between the City of Natchitoches and ASB Utility Construction LLC for the water distribution and production system improvements, Powhatan Connection. Whereas the contract sum will be decreased by this change order number 1 in the amount of $249,510, and the revised contract total will be $1,590,278. And I want to reiterate, decreased, because that never happens. I move to adopt Resolution 87 of 2022.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Matt, given this is a grant, and we're seeing, as Councilman Harrington emphasized, a decrease of $250,000 basically, how does this really affect us here? In what ways do you see?
Well, when the bids came in, they were over budget because this whole process started about 2 years ago. And it's just taken this long to go to bid. So we looked at it and said, what can we do to get it back under the designer's estimate, which would all be covered by the grant. And we looked at pipe sizes and had our engineer do some calculations, and it was decided that we can still accomplish everything that this project was intended to accomplish, but go down a pipe size to save that money, because it's a long pipeline, and going down from 8-inch to 6-inch pipe really meant, that's where the $250,000 of savings came from.
Good work. Good work. Is it logical to think that anything over the $2 million grant, we would have been responsible for matching?
Correct.
Okay.
We would have to come up with that amount.
So that's why you want to, one of the reasons why
Stay
you want to
under
be
that,
diligent in your spending. So good work there. Council, you got any comments or questions?
Great job, great job.
Yep. Any public comments or questions here? All right, seeing none, Mr. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
All righty, that motion carries. We're going to give the floor just a little while to Mrs. Clarissa Brown Smith, as she's going to share the financial report.
So, the information that you'll see displayed is the information from the Tax Commission, so we'll go over that very quickly. As you can see, towards the end of that graph, that's the month of August, and we're up about 6% in our law enforcement taxes there. So we're seeing a consistent uptick there compared to last year, so that looks really good. You can go to the next slide. Okay, here you can see our fiscal year sales taxes, and overall, well, for August, you can see that we're up 5.8%, which was great, and overall, for our fiscal year, which starts in June, we are up 3.7%, so numbers are looking well there. just another glimpse of our sales tax distribution. And we are, like I said before, we're up about 3 to 4%, well, 3.74% there. So, definitely seeing, an uptick in our, sales tax distribution, which says that, Natchitoches is still booming, so looking really well. This is for our, I can't see that, so I think that's the TIF district.
That's right.
So, good. So, this one was very interesting, because this shows, our hotel occupancy taxes. And when you're looking, 1 year versus the next, 2021 to 2022, we're up about 40% of our TIF tax there. So, that was surprising to see, but a great, a great thing to see. Last year this time, we collected 32,000, and, year to date, we've collected 46,000, over 46,000. So seen about a 40% increase there, from, same time last year. So, very good numbers.
Great. And hotel occupancy, that's all over the city, if we're thinking? Yeah, all hotels, no matter where they are? Okay. Council, you got any questions about the financial report? Comments, questions?
Good.
I know, good.
Bringing in money.
Yeah, it's good for us to have strong sales taxes, but then, like I said, the price of everything else, if that could reduce and yet we stay steady and even increase our sales tax, that would be great, right? All right, thanks again, Mrs. Brown-Smith, for that report. As you can see, our next city council meeting is going to be Monday, October 10th. We're always encouraging you to download the Go Natchitoches app and also Regroup. Thankfully, we hadn't had to use Regroup, but if you follow the news, you see, is it Ian? What's his name? The hurricane out there.
Ian.
Is it Ian? Yeah, looks like he's going to affect Florida, and so our prayers are with them. We're also grateful, of course, that we're not having to do what they're doing, but certainly we'll pray for them. Our third and final town hall to really discuss the water treatment is going to be this Thursday at 6:30 at the First Baptist Church on Amulet. And so we're imploring residents to be there. We're there, all right, but we really want to get residents there. So we're going to do some advertising here next few days to really try to meet that in, all right? There's a gala also that night. You know, unfortunately, these events happen on the same night, but Celebration of Life Gala, I'm saying, I think we said Guyana Chesson, something like that. But she's going to be at the event center at 6:30 p.m. So, all right, next announcement, Classic Car Show. I know we look forward to that. That's starting this Friday and going through Saturday, one of our well-attended festivals, if you will. So looking forward to the Classic Car Show. All right, there's a Community Shredded happening October the 7th, 10 through 2 p.m. This takes place, as you see at the bottom, at the Natchitoches Parish Library. Again, that's Friday, October 7th. And then the Kiwanis, the 5K Color Run, Pancake Fest. That's always pretty fun, pretty cool. It's going to be October 9th, Saturday, at the NSU Collins Pavilion. All right.
That's October 8th.
What's that? Is it the 8th? Oh, is it? It says the 9th there. Saturday's the 8th. Oh, gosh. So something's wrong here. Probably, yeah, probably meant to say the 8th. Yep, okay. All right, so it'll be the 8th, y'all. So also on the 8th, there's the Run for Bert at 8 a.m. And this is at the Natchitoches Riverbank this year. And it, you know, says it's a scholarship program. Of course, Mr. Bert Clark is a native of the city of Natchitoches who unexpectedly passed away over a year ago now. Okay, so again, the Run for Bert happening October 8th at 8 a.m. at the Riverbank. I know we got a couple runners who are here with us who always participate, so we'll be calling on them to participate. Except there'll be 2 that day, y'all. All right, and then we want to encourage everybody to go to www.natchitocheschristmas.com. You can get all of the events going on. We're looking forward to an even better Christmas season this year. So again, looking forward to everything. All righty.
May I say one thing? I don't think
Yes,
I
ma'am.
heard it. This Saturday, which is October the 1st, I believe, yeah, this Saturday, October the 1st, The Crew of Excellence, along with the Natchitoches Regional Medical Center, will be having a breast cancer awareness walk at the city park, starting at, I think, 8:30 that morning, and just trying to encourage all persons to come out and take part in that, please. City Park this Saturday, 8:30. Crew of Excellence, along with the Natchitoches Regional Medical Center.
Thanks for adding that, Councilwoman at Large. Look, and I also forgotten Chief Collins and Chief Wynn. We've been in some conversations, but National Night Out is that on here? That's not on here, is it? National Night Out. So we don't have, communities are planning them. But what day is that, Chief Collins?
October 4th.
It's going to be October 4th.
Okay, Tuesday, October 4th. And we know there, Southtown community, know there's something.
Kane Plaza Village.
Kane Plaza Village is having something at the end of the Melrose, I believe.
End of Melrose.
End of Melrose. All right, even in my community, we're doing something at the Masonic Lodge. So
Mr. Johnny Barnes over at,
Bailey Heights. I tell you
Bailey
what we're
Heights.
gonna do. We're gonna get out a flyer, letting everybody know when those events, where they're gonna be, what time they're gonna start, so people can attend them. Again, it's about bringing law enforcement and community together. If we really are gonna wanna stomp our crime, that's the way it's really gonna have to work. We're gonna have to get that back again, where community and law enforcement are working together. Chief Collins, and we gotta go, but Chief Collins did mention one particular incident took place recently, and he talked about how the community and law enforcement work together, and we were able to get an arrest pretty rapidly in that instance. So it's a lot we can do when we work together. All right, Council, we've been here for 2 hours now. We love the city of Natchitoches, but I know everybody got to get home. All right, this time
may I
we're here.
make a motion that we adjourn?
All right.
Second.
All right, motion was made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, folks.